Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
This season marks a new beginning. Witness the raw power, iconic sound, and pure speed from the historic Lotus 79. Experience the competition and glory days of early 80s open-wheel action. Watch as drivers wrestle these ground effects cars into submission. Drivers will face off wheel to wheel. For some, it's a chance at redemption. For others, an opportunity to make a statement. All sharing the same goal, to be crowned champion. Who will be victorious tonight? The Lionheart Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker starts now.
Just outside of Newton, Iowa, in the middle of sprawling cornfields, is not the first, second, or hell, probably the inside of the top 20 places you'd expect to find a racetrack. But in June of 2005, the Iowa Speedway, motorsports version of the Field of Dreams, opened up and immediately was dubbed the fastest short track on the planet. It has also become a second home to the Lionheart Series for the annual members meetup. Tonight, however, it's a different type of meetup in the Iowa cornfields. Iowa Speedway has become fast, a driver's and fans' favorite track. High banks, high speed, high action, all of those fun adjectives to use to describe the action here that you're going to see at Iowa Speedway. Ryan Lotus comes in tonight holding a commanding point lead and setting his sights on his first championship. Who will come out of the cornfields to rival him tonight? We will soon find out in our live flag-to-flag coverage of the Butt Kicker 150 with the Global SimRacing Channel broadcast on the iRacing Esports Network. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm Brian Yazek. Alongside me tonight is Sean Ambrose. I'm Jed Yaman, calling the shots with the cameras from Dougie Beard. This is the Sim Experience Countdown to Green. And this countdown to green, as we said, brought to you by Sim Experience, the team behind the AccuForce Pro V2 direct drive steering systems, by providing unparalleled realism and the most advanced tuning features on the market. The AccuForce provides a significant advantage to any sim racer out there. It can make for an effective training tool for real-world drivers. For more information on the entire Sim Experience ecosystem, including their GS5 seat, Stage Series motion sims, and SimVibe software, visit www.simexperience.com and use promo code SimXLion for 5% off of your orders. Sean, welcome to the coach here. We're in Iowa, baby. Tell us about this place.
Well, first of all, rookie commentator here, Sean Ambrose, here at the Iowa Speedway. Brian, much like last week's track, Michigan, this track has 4 turns with an asphalt surface. So that's where the similarity actually begins and ends. It's only 0.875 miles, 1.4 kilometers on the Euro clock, folks. Banking 12 to 14 degrees here in the turns. The front stretch, 10 degrees. Back stretch flattens out quite a bit, 4 degrees. Now listen, Iowa Speedway is something of a home for the Lionheart Series. You know, every year league members gather at the real-world IndyCar race, and Brian, I think you've been there before. Maybe you can cause a little bit of trouble. To spend a weekend of, well, maybe drinking your favorite beverage or chatting with friends and watching the IndyCars take on this special short track. One of America's newest racetracks, Iowa Speedway, is located right there in Newton, just as you were talking about a moment ago, Brian. It's been in operation since 2006 and designed and built under the auspices of NASCAR champion Rusty Wallace at a cost of approximately $70 million. That's not small potatoes, but, well, folks, it really kind of is. But in recent years, it's become a bastion for open-wheel action in the Midwest and one of Lionheart's favorite tracks. Brian, the best way to take a look at it is on board with the GSRC Lotus 79 here at Iowa.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Global SimRacing Channel. I'm Brian Yazek, taking you for a spin around the Iowa Speedway in the classic Lotus 79. So without further ado, here we go. Iowa Speedway is a fun, almost 9/10 of a mile speedway right out in the middle of cornfield America. Down here into turn 1, let it kind of float over that bump and then cut it down, find the yellow line for the hot lap. Kind of maybe for these cars, maybe run down the backstretch, middle of that. You don't need to go all the way up to the wall. Down here into turn 3, let it just roll out of the gas, maybe a hair. Catch the bottom, float it, and then driving it on out. Now, as the race progresses and the tires wear out, you might see guys move around this little place. So you might see guys down here into turn 1 stay up here in the second groove. Avoid that bump down there in turn 1 entirely, and then straight off of the corner. And then up here into turn 3, you might see guys all the way up here or anywhere in between the middle, top, or bottom. Off of turn 4, getting a nice straight shot, maybe pick up a draft across the line. That's going to complete our track guide here around the Iowa Speedway. I'm Brian Yazek. Enjoy the show. And there you see riding around in the Iowa Speedway in the GSRC Lotus 79. You notice just as the car turns off into turn 1, those last set of grandstands, the second bleachers up, that's where the big meetup sits every single year. So it's a whole lot of fun. And when we say that this track is in the middle of the cornfield, ladies and gentlemen, I promise you, that is in the middle of a cornfield. From the grandstands, you're surrounded by corn, and even driving down the road, it's corn, corn, corn. Hey, there's a racetrack there, and then more corn and more corn. So, enough of those corny jokes. Let's get to the action here. Let's talk about people that are really up on the cob here in the overall championship. And we talked about Ryan Otis has a commanding point lead there of 150 markers over new second place to the standings there with Clymer at 492 points. Dustin Wardlow, series veteran in both the Retro and the IndyCar series, back there in 3rd, with Paul Jenkins in 4th, Travis Jagerliner 5th, Chris Lanini 6th, Dean Mardi Gras Mall in 7th, and Taft Baldwin in 8th. And you kind of see the back half of the top 10 there. A couple of those guys followed into more of a part-time as the season has run on here. So now from the overall championship, let's move to the team championship. And this, I'm going to tell you, this is all buttery popcorn out here for Raven Motorsports Black. I mean, you look at that they're pretty much going to clinch here right around the corner, not too far. with a 441-point lead over Raven Motorsports Silver. So, if you're not familiar, the Lionheart Series has 3-car team, but the teams can be part of a bigger team. There's probably a better way to describe that, but you kind of see this where you see black, silver, and then over on the IndyCar side, you see the same colors, but the same team name, those sort of things. But when you got Raven Motorsports Black with Ryan Otis, Paulson, and Wardlow, pretty easy to see how they have a commanding points lead there. But Sean, talk us through the rookie of the year, the fresh, the fresh cornlings.
Yes, I would love to do that. In fact, speaking of the corn, great emoji, Jake. It's my understanding Joe Hassard has friends out in the corn. He's made some friends out there before.
He has.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Last year they finished a game. They finished a game of cornhole in a torrential downpour with lightning. Someone was allegedly locked in a porta potty. There was all sorts of shenanigans last year.
I love porta potty stories. All right, let's look at these rookie standings this year. Look at Clymer. David Clymer, 492 points. Well, why is that important? Well, because Jenkins just dropped that spot. Sits 18 points behind. That's really your battle right now between Clymer and Jenkins. Now, Mardi Gras Mole sits back there with 400 points. Am I still allowed to call him Mardi Gras Mole, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We're still good with that. Mardi Gras, only 92 points behind. Look at that. Nipping at his heels, Taft Baldwin. Yes, the riding shotgun driver sitting there only 2 points behind. And, you've got it's really tight at the top, actually, Brian. As we look down through these points, you see Dalton, Sage Karam, Sage's availability hurts him here in the standings. Certainly anything but a rookie by the fact that he is a real life IndyCar driver. Mark Cohn, the watchman there, tied right now with Block, Finian Ducana there in ninth. Really, really good battles in the rookie standings. The rookies are really shining here this season in the Lionheart Retro Series, Brian.
Well, and a lot of those names that you see out there, they're hardly rookies. They might be rookies new to the series, but especially for a lot of the fans of GSRC and some of the other shows out there, a lot of these names are very familiar to you. So, I mean, you see on screen Alex Saunders. He was a dominative for us last year. Missed the championship by 1 point, I believe. Been part-time this year, trying to get the schedule to work out. I mean, hey, we all know how life works, but that lean, mean purple machine, strong on the road courses, still learning and yearning to get the oval side down, but he's not a slow cookie out there. He can really get it done. Tonight here, we're going to go 172 laps around this place with a fuel run of about 72 laps. So what they're kind of anticipating is about a 2-stop race, no matter which way you slice it. As you see Ryan Corns on screen there going off into turn 1. And then I really talk about the lead mean purple machine who just went purple on top of the board there. See Travis Jagerliner coming across the line there. Sean, what are you paying attention to out there, buddy?
You know what? I'm paying attention to the weather. To be really honest with you, it's a clear evening here in Iowa. The sun is starting to set. This qualifying still has 3 minutes left in it. Several drivers still need to take their time. It's only 80 degrees on track, Brian. I don't expect it to get much warmer than that this evening. So track conditions should be really, really prime for some great racing this evening. But we have a fairly busy field, and well, as you know, in these retro cars, just the Lotus 79, just like the IndyCar, they're open wheel, and wheel-to-wheel action can result in spins, which generally collect a yellow flag. Brian, did you bring your flags with you this evening, sir?
The flags are stationary and ready to go.
Excellent. That's good stuff. So I think you may need that yellow flag this evening, but I'll tell you what, looking at the early results here in qualifying, George and Zaldo here up in fourth in qualifying. Ryan Otis just went to the pole. I guess that's not a huge surprise. Ryan driving his, I know you guys don't talk about it much, but driving his spirit animal. So he once revealed that to me, and I kind of never let it go. So every time I see him in the Lotus 79, I think everybody in the field has very little chance. So because that Otis guy is he's pretty good. He's not bad. So
you're talking about just something that you get cozy with, and that car becomes one with you. All right.
Yeah, I
like
think he
that.
is definitely one with the Lotus 79.
He
Again, he
definitely
revealed
is.
that to me some time ago. You know, of course, we're littered with stats here from the Lionheart Retro Series, from the IndyCar series as well. This is the third time this track has shown up on the schedule. It's making its third appearance here in 2019. It's been on the schedule each season, and so this is the third season here. Mike Goodman's had back-to-back poles here at Iowa, but the pole sitters actually never won a race, Brian.
Yes, I mean that's a trend that we picked up last week at Michigan, that the pole sitter has never won at Michigan, and Dustin Wardlow, who was the pole sitter in a good way, fortunate for him was the pole sitter last week, and then the curse befell him and was not able to make it towards victory lane, and that same streak is riding for the Iowa Speedway. So right now, if you're Ryan Otis out there, you might. Might hope it maybe you should have backed it off a little bit.
Or somebody knocks you off the pole.
Yeah, that's what you're hoping for. But you see Taft Baldwin completing the line there. See where he slots in, somewhere about 20th on the grid. Chris Lanini firing around on the Speedway. He's 18th. He's finished up on that side.
Just finished up,
Brian. There. I mean, look at the spread here that we're talking about. Ryan Otis at a provisional pole right now. We're going to pretty much call that a pole because I don't think anybody else is running. And he is at a 1954. And you go back to, top 23 in times is all within 2/10. That's the sharp end of the stick, boys and girls. That's how that was done.
Indeed. And qualifying is over.
And who presents qualifying? That's Butt Kicker for us, isn't that, Sean?
Brian, it certainly is. And Butt Kicker, Butt Kicker products and add instant immersion to any game. Unlike a subwoofer that moves air and loses accuracy and force when it moves that air, Butt Kicker products move actual mass, producing a haptic immersion that's powerful and accurate. Butt Kicker Butt Kicker products add that missing driver-to-car connection, bringing more realism and immersion to your sessions. See all the family of products at thebuttkicker.com. How do you spell Butt Kicker? Buttkicker. That's thebuttkicker.com. Use the promo code. They've got a special promo code for you when you get there, Lion25, to get 25% off your order. Folks, 25% off an order is really, really nothing to sneeze at. In fact, if you have $1 and you get 25% off, you only spent 75 cents. So here we go to the grid, Brian.
Yeah, let's go to the grid. We talked about it. Ryan Otis on pole. Alex Saunders to his outside. Mike Eleanor Rigney there in the third spot with George Anzaldo, series founder, in the fourth position. Inside of row number 3 is JP Winchittle with Mark Cohn, the watchman, to his outside. Scott Holmes, 7th. Ryan Corns, 8th. David Clymer, 9th. And rounding out your top 10, the Candyman can, Dustin Wardlow.
All right, Brian. And then row 6. It's Adam Young, riding shotgun's own Dean Mardi Gras Mole. And then we go on to row 7. Chad Dalton, Tyson Landis, making a surprise appearance this evening. Well, that would be Andrew Kinsella, and he's going to sit right next to Paul Jenkins on the start, Brian. Then we drop back to row 17. You've got Eric Block and Chris Lanini. Then go down to row 10. Well, that's going to be Joshua Gaiman and Taft Baldwin, another riding shotgun driver there.
In the 21st spot is David Alt with James Paulson to his outside. 23rd to Robert Blue and Lionel Little Train Callisto. 24th, 25th to Cody Eldred. Finian Ducana in 26th to Travis Jagerliner, 27th. Frank Beeser rounding out your field in the 28th spot. So let's, Sean. Oh, excuse me there. We had a little sneeze action. Let's talk about, while we're here, while we got 2 pace laps to play with, let's go over our series details. And the series details presented by Minus 273, the premier name in karting gloves. Industry-leading gloves are super lightweight, durable, made from breathable poly spandex. I know you know what that is, Sean. Whether you're a kart sim racer, minus 273 gives you the control to reach victory lane. For more information on all of minus 273's full line of gloves and apparel, visit them, minus273.biz. And don't forget, we got a promo code LHRS for 25% off of that. Here we are, season 3, round 13 of 18, 2 drops that these guys get. The Lotus 79 car setups are an adjusted fix from Andrew Kinsella, the setup guru himself. Cash and prizes totaling over $7,000. Sean, I hope you brought it. I hope you're ready here, buddy. This is going to get interesting.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready. You know, whereas I could probably wear spandex again, I do not own any anymore. I was not wearing any last night or Sunday night, so that's probably a really comforting thought for me.
George Gonzaldo there in the clipping that Apex camera. Jeff Baldwin over the left shoulder in the butt kicker camera. And here we go. Pace car is off. Ryan Otis is on it. Green flag is in the air, and we're away at Iowa. The butt kicker 150 is on and ready to go. Unfortunately, though, Dustin Wardlow, the Candyman, connection issues, dropping him right before the green flag, giving everybody behind him a cause for celebration, getting moved up one spot there. But out front, it's Ryan Otis coming off a turn 4 with Saunders sniffing his draft to lead lap 1.
Rigney, Cone, Winchittle back here, all in their own little battle. Rigney coming around on the top side, really close to the wall up there.
At Iowa, I mean, me personally, I love that top groove up there in turns 3 and 4, and you see Rigney up there just making it work for himself.
Ooh, that was almost contact between Rigney and Cone there, Brian. Maybe a little bit of wheel to wheel.
Clear-ish.
Clear-ish.
Clear-ish. Don't overlook the driver of that number 39, the Watchman, tied in the series, and this is a stat I found very a good omen for Mark Cohn. The tied for series wins this season with Sage Karam and Ryan Otis at 2 apiece. I mean, that's impressive for Mark Cohn to be mentioned in those in that same breath there. That's pretty good for him.
I wonder which timepiece adorns the wrist for this race this evening.
I have a hunch, and I don't think I can give it away. Speaking of that, Mark Cohn just went purple, fastest lap of the Speedway so far. I mean, we've been helping him with some sponsorship proposals, so we might have a hunch of what's coming down the pipeline there for the Watchman.
All right. The Swiss is, of course, a great auto racing sponsor.
I think American made.
Okay, all right. We'll see.
It's a big, good battle right there. Dean Mardi Gras Mall taking the 10th spot, or defending the 10th spot away from Adam Young. Trying to get that low line going there in turns 3 and 4. You see just behind him that red machine, or that green machine there on the screen. That's Andrew Kinsella, making a rare one-off appearance in the Retro Series.
Moving up pretty well here so far. He's picked up 2. It's Chris Lanini following him that's picked up 4 spots. And Chris maybe using a little bit of the advantage of Kinsella's draft here. Maybe a little, I'm not going to say that word. A little, yeah, just a little partnership maybe.
Partnership. There you go. I like that.
Partnership.
It's co-opetition.
No,
that's what it is.
You did it.
I did. I like that
word.
I enjoyed early DW work. And co-opetition was a good one. We might not like each other, but we got to work together right now.
Kinsella continuing to move here. Picks up that one from Landis. Now he's locked on to our buddy Adam Young. Adam still throwing sparks from out under the wing in the gearbox.
Woo, he's having some connection issues. Yeah. That's sorted itself right out. See, just in front of that battle, Ryan Corns trying to get that 9th spot away from Dean. Dean moving up the field just a little bit. I mean, if you could get that high lane working, there you go, looking over the left shoulder there, one of my favorite cameras that we have here on the Global SimRacing Channel. I mean, you get that good look down the road, and you can just kind of see. But here at Iowa, especially in these the high downforce, the ground effect cars that don't produce the horsepower that you might be used to seeing on Wednesday nights, the momentum is absolutely huge here at Iowa.
Boy, Kinsella on the outside, right up against the wall. That's the only place he had to go to get around Combs.
I mean, it worked. Well, have a catch. That's what.
Have a catch. Have a catch.
Yeah,
that's right.
Soup calls him that on Wednesday night.
Do you know why?
Other than it rhyming together, I don't know.
Ray Kinsella, the Black Sox of 1909? Yeah, 1909 Black Sox.
Was that the White Sox team that was found for cheating?
Indeed.
Is that what the nickname
Yes.
more it was?
Indeed. He's
okay.
also the Ray Kinsella that comes from the corn in
Fielded.
yes.
So we've now tied this all together.
We have
Ah,
at
so there it
Iowa,
is.
of all
Beautiful.
places, at Iowa.
Beautiful. We're just popping kernels of knowledge tonight here. Pretty much single file throughout the top half of the field. You're not missing much. Ryan Lotus still continues to lead with Alexander second, George Anzaldo in third, with Mark Cohn fourth, and JP Winchittle rounding out the top five. You see getting a good action shot here of Otis swinging that thing high, wide, and handsome off of the final corner. Sean, what you spotting back there in the pack? Sean back there, he pointed me towards the 20th spot, which is Finian Bucana. But right behind him is kind of a hornet's nest, as you've got Joshua Gateman, Frank Bieser trying to work his way up, and Robert Bluen, kind of a very curious bystander to that, with Cody Eldred kind of leading that charge up there too. That's a pretty good battle back there.
Eldred just went through there actually to get that spot, so he's climbed 3 spots here early. I'm impressed though. I mean, we've knocked down 17 laps. Everybody is behaving themselves here in the corn.
Well, we got a long way to go. 155 laps of racing out here on the Speedway, just off of I-80. About an hour and a half from the world's largest truck stop off of I-80. A place I stopped both times that I've been out to the Lionheart meetup. Didn't get a chance to go out this most recent year because of a career change for myself. Last year I sat in the truck stop there at the Taco Bell part and shot the bull with some guys from Schmidt-Peterson, some of the crew guys.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah.
Do they have beaver nuggets at that truck stop? Right?
You know, Sean, I didn't ask around. Being a Michigan boy from up north, we kind of know when to pick our audiences. And I wasn't about to walk around a truck stop asking for beaver nuggets.
Okay, all right. That's probably a good call, brother. Probably a good call.
good way to get, put into a dress, that sort of thing. Anyways, speaking of addressing the field, here's George Anzaldo. Look at this camera that we got here. Dougie and Dougie just works magic on these cameras. Look at this. Looking back through the rear spoiler at the Watchman Mark Cohn. Now, the big thing is, Sean, and I know that you can elaborate on this because you are a bit of a setup guru. Talk to us about the ground effects and kind of how that comes into play.
Well, I mean, this is a ground. We talk about the Lotus 79. This is the epitome of what they call the ground effect era of racing. And, for a track like this and its size and the banking that we're dealing with, this car really glues itself to the track. I mean, the ground effects on this car just suck that car down all the way to the track surface. Very, very little clearance. This track, not super bumpy because it's still so new. That's why we're seeing 19-second laps, Brian. I made the comment about the Indy cars at Richmond last night about jet fighters in a gymnasium, quote unquote jet fighters in a gymnasium, because I certainly didn't come up with that. We really have somewhat of the same effect here as we go on board with Mardi Gras, with Andrew Kinsella continuing to pull up through the field, and Kinsella showing why he's been a champion, Brian. He continues his charge, now up to 10th, and it looks like 9th is just a matter of working this thing out getting around Mardi Gras.
Yeah, I mean, you see Andrew working his way up. Yeah, he started in the 15th spot, up to 10th. He's really shucking his way through the field here and making it look easy. And the thing is, it's really not easy to pass because you get the ground effects like what Sean was talking about. But the car does also pick up some aero push tendencies. So you kind of try to balance both of those things out. So you see Andrew up there, he's in the high stock area, and really trying to get as much clean air as he can and keeping the most momentum that he can get built up there. As we're looking just over this right front suspension piece going down the front stretch, you can kind of watch here into turn one. He's going to drive it in probably a lane higher than Mardi Gras, or 2 lanes higher. Goodness gracious. Really build up that head of steam and then get a big run down the backstretch.
Well, we're still very much mean green and underway here at Iowa Speedway, and it's pretty much line to stern. I'm not really seeing many side-by-side battles at this point, and honestly, I wonder how long it's going to be before Otis catches the back of this field, which right now sees Travis Jaegerleiner sitting at the back of the field in the number 44.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of kernels of truth there. I mean, he is catching up to the back of the field. Iowa can kind of develop into a conveyor belt, if you will. Especially when it gets filtered in and it starts running, because we are just shy of probably halfway through a fuel run. And when you look at Otis out there out front, and he's going to catch Jaegerleiner first, and Bluin and Beeser and some of the guys out back are going to have to get going. Now, for Otis, as he's really going to kind of have to be careful here, kind of like going through a corn maze, and he's going to have to play it by ear too, because you can't put yourself in a bad spot, especially when you are, kind of susceptible to some of the aero games and the aero wash.
Well, I mean, we certainly know, we've talked about it, he's leading the championship. Otis also leads the series this season with the most top 5s, 10 of those. Top 10s, he's got 10 of those and has the most laps completed overall, going in tonight with 1,210. Whoa, baby, that's a bunch. 4 digits on that. He's also got the best average starting position with a 3.25, best average finishing position with a 4.92, and he also leads the series with the fewest average incidents with just 1.75 per race, and he's passing Travis Jaegerleiner now for the back of the field.
There you go. I mean,
Travis just got out of the way.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Sometimes just get out of the way. And you know what? While we've got a kind of a brief moment in the action, let's take a moment here and go over our driver spotlight, George Anzaldo, and congratulate him on some of his, obviously the success about being in the league and kind of how he's going about things. But here we're going to go and kind of throw a stat line at you here for series founder, all-around good guy, George Anzaldo there. 45 career starts, 2 pole positions, both of those coming this year. No career wins yet. George, he's pretty feisty in these Lotus 79.
Coming soon. Hashtag soon.
Hashtag soon. 2 top 5s, 10 top 10s. Obviously, his first start was in Series 1 at Homestead with the best finish of 3rd in Homestead earlier this year. And I remember he got out of the car and he was just absolutely happy just to get out there and get out to get the season started and try to really butter up some success this year. And then a couple bad races in a row, but he's still just trucking along here.
How long are we going to keep going with the corn puns?
135 laps to go here in the Iowa Speedway.
I think the only one we've left out is salt. Have we used salt for anything yet? Will we need salt tonight for maybe in Victory Lane?
Well, I tried pouring some salt on some battery one time, and that didn't work out.
Yeah, no, that's not good. If I remember my chemistry class correctly.
Yeah, I don't have to be Heisenberg to understand that one.
I love the Heisenberg reference. Brian?
Sir.
You know what? We're at serious risk of having a bootleg race break out here. At the rate these guys are getting around. We could be done in just a few minutes. Could be off to bed for me really soon.
Yeah, you had a pretty busy day flying around, and you were surfing, and then you're at Iron Maiden. And I think about that, and I get tired. So I don't even know how you did it.
Well, you have to celebrate turning a half a century somehow. So,
yeah.
Why not throw yourself in the pit with people that are less than half your age and very pent up with lots of adrenaline and maybe even some with a little bit of anger. That was fun. I'm a little sore, Brian.
Yeah. Well, someone who isn't sore right now, Taft Baldwin, as we're kind of going over this basically I'm going to call it the spoiler cam or the wing cam, because that's kind of where it is as we're looking over on that butt kicker camera from Taft. Right now in the 17th position. But I think he's kind of suffering from just kind of how Iowa gets. You just kind of get strung out this way.
Well, what he's really going to be suffering is in about, what, 6 seconds. He's 6 seconds removed from right now Otis getting up there. I mean, Otis has already knocked down a few. And if anybody could use a yellow right about now, I think it's probably Taft Baldwin, because it's not that he's running bad. He's just got a bad qualifying effort. Found himself back in the field. He's picked up a few spots, but honestly, Brian, like I said, it probably would be one of those drivers that would hope we'd see some laundry here in a moment. I don't know if we're going to get it. They have really set themselves apart pretty well.
Yeah,
and
I mean, everybody's about running the same pace.
Yeah.
Everybody's about spaced out the same. I mean, most deviant in lap time, Ryan Cohn's back there in the 11th spot. He was at a 19:43, but he's about 8 seconds off the lead. So, you know, it's kind of everybody's trading fast laps right now. You know, and I think Otis, as he's coming up on lap cars and he's kind of having to deviate around from what he's doing, he's slowing down. And then as Saunders might catch up a little bit, he has closed the gap just a hair. As you see that purple machine coming into frame, getting by the lap traffic of Robert Blue. And I think Alex, talk about that. I think Alex just went purple again, if I'm not mistaken. Fastest lap of the night. Nope, he is the fastest lap of that moment. Fastest lap actually was Corns, as I was talking about that. So everybody's just kind of trading barbs. It's kind of like a heavyweight fight, Sean.
It really is.
A lot of sparring, little jabs back and forth. But I think by the end of it, they're just going to get to a knockdown slug out here, a slugfest.
Yeah. And I don't think they can really go any more than about 72 laps on a tank. I mean, that's absolute max.
Well,
I think several drivers will start thinking about pit stops here at about 20.
Yeah, I mean, if that was the outer edge of it. And the other thing, too, something that I think we talk about on every oval, this car on low fuel and hot tires, I'm going to say, air quotation, worn tires, it really produces some interesting results, and a lot of the experienced drivers kind of know how to manage that. So towards the end of the run is where you can see things start getting really shook up as guys either just get ready to get onto pit road and coming off of pit road and trying to kind of manage that gaps. But I'm talking about managing a gap. If you're Otis, you're looking at that relative and you're looking at that rearview mirror, and that purple machine is getting a little bit bigger lap by lap.
Let's see. So right now, the only drivers that have fallen from this race have just two cars, Eric Block, Dustin Wardlow. Looks like Dustin didn't get started tonight. Possibly
no, he had some connection issues in our Lionheart chat. He posted a very spirited series of messages. Very upset. And when your passion and your hobbies just mess with you, it's just not fun. What we got on screen here? Is that Mark Cohn?
It is
getting a run at things here.
Kind of is.
Who watches the watchman?
Here he comes.
To the inside, Mark Cohn looking for third spot over George Anzaldo. George is going to have that top run and the momentum, but here comes Mark diving back into the outside, or down to the inside, trying to get that run. Car is going to get a little bit tight and wash out, and George is just going to motor on and keep the spot. Kinsella, we talked about him shucking his way through the field up to the 8th position now, and running lap times pretty equivalent lap by lap to the leaders. So keep an eye on Andrew Havakech Kinsella there in that 41 machine. I think as this race gets closer to the conclusion and that pay window starts to open up, that's when you're going to see that 41 really rise as the cream to the crop, you know, if we will. There's another corn expression that I'm trying to work in there.
Yeah, I get it.
And you're not buying. You're not helping me here.
I like cream corn, by the way.
I like a good old-fashioned sweet corn.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, some of that, some
And
barbecue ribs.
it's not only grown in Iowa, by the way. Long Island, a great producer of Long Island, New York, a great producer of sweet corn.
There's a up here in the northern Michigan land. There's a town, Sheboygan, Michigan.
Sheboygan,
CH, and I know it's got a sister over there in Wisconsin, SH. But CH, Sheboygan, Michigan, known for its sweet corn in the northern Michigan area. So now that's all the corn facts that we've got for you tonight. By the way, keeping a track on that battle back up front, Mark Cohn almost had the spot coming off of turn 2, and he just didn't quite get it clear. Now he should be clear. Come on up. There you go. Mark Cohn up to the 3rd spot. I know he's probably looking if you get some set of spotlights there for Midwest Simulation. That'd be a big help coming off the corners there. Oh, George gets a little washout there.
Yeah, this is starting to get a little crazy here. I know Soup has spidey senses, so do I. And, well, thankfully they've kind of separated from each other now, because I thought for a moment it was getting a little tenuous there. But what a run Cohn's having. He's been very patient, pulled off that pass on Georgia. It took a few laps to get it done, but it was clean. And he seems to be really locked in this evening. Podium not far away if he can just hang on to it here, get through that first pit stop clean.
Well, that's true. And Mark Cohn won a practice race here that the Retro Series had. So if you're not familiar with the Lionheart Series, each series, the IndyCar Series and the Retro Series, the week leading up to the race, they have a practice race than the 2 nights previously. So that way, guys, you get a chance to get out there and race. And it's just different than just showing up and practicing hot lapping and not knowing how the car runs. And these are the night before, so the penultimate night is full distance. So that way you really get an effect of how things go. I mean, now have a catch. He was running in Richmond last night. Decided to come out here to Iowa and try and show these boys just how it's done. Look at him working over the back of Holmes there, I believe.
But we're talking about practice, right?
We are talking about practice. I tell you, it all ties together. Practice.
Yeah. Okay. Practice. Hey, I think the Butt Kicker 150 is living up to to its moniker. This has been a bit of a butt kicker, man. They're just really kicking the tar out of Iowa Speedway right now, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, and there is a bump right here. Let's go on there and have a catch. See, the bump is kind of at the very bottom there in 1 and 2. And if you ride that the wrong way, that's probably why you're seeing the groove gravitate up towards the wall in 1 and 2, and then also up here in 3 and 4. There's a lot of bumps along the bottom of the track, and where I think that comes in is where the tunnel to the infield is. Yeah, it's about right there, I think. Having ridden on the tractor that they take you, I'm not making that up. The tractor ride that they take you from the parking lot under the track into the infield, I believe the tunnel is right about there. So with the harsh Midwestern winters that everybody gets, you know, the asphalt, it grows and it expands and it contracts and it does all these different things. And that's what creates these bumps and these ripples. As Saunders is heading to pit road on lap 69.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Calling his shot right now. No, he did. I think he scared the cone over at the end of pit road. He was not near it, but it fell over. Or is that just a glitch?
Here they come. Here they come, Brian.
Even time.
And no one coming in.
I was wondering why I hadn't heard anything, and I realized I had race chatter muted. Now, what you won't see here is that those tires leave the ground. You're going to see Alex Saunders take a full tank of fuel and just head on down. And all these guys that are on pit road right now, Otis and Cole and everybody, pretty much. None of them, the front tires will not come up off the ground. The Otis stopping in his box. There you see Kinsella. Oh, someone having some issues on pit road on the entrance, and I think it was Scott Holmes.
Let me take a look. I'm
just
checking out Holmes now.
Just got away from him. Here comes the battle for the lead. Otis trying to get up to speed, and here comes Saunders with a full head of steam. Coming off the front stretch. Otis to defend the inside. Here comes Saunders fighting back to the outside. Side by side off of turn 2. Give that spot temporarily to Otis. Saunders still fighting on the outside, still trying to make it work, but the bottom line is going to prevail for the moment. But here comes Saunders, the big head of steam on that run. Give it to Saunders on that lap. Now, can he defend to the bottom? Try to clear that spot away, pinching down just a little bit, but he's going to get the run off of the corner. Alex Saunders to the lead.
Brian, I got to tell you, that comb spin down going onto the pit lane,
yeah,
that almost took out a bunch of cars. I mean, half a dozen
big.
Cars had to get around him. That
do
was.
Do we got a replay on that?
I don't know if we do, but I'm just bringing it up because it was, and he eventually pitted in, so he got onto the pit lane really, really slow. But I'm going to be honest, something happened to the car when he nosed it in there. Wasn't able to continue. He had to take the toe back to the stall.
Oh, probably some front end damage is what I would suspect. So here we go. Oh, Amjad, just the master of this. Getting down here, and he's going to try to get it woe down, but the car is just going to escape from him. Right here. Nope. Lap before. I think it was the lap before me. Was it Holmes or was it? I think
it was Ryan Combs, indeed, right. Yeah.
All right, well, never mind.
Yeah,
he
get it.
Tried to get it right down, get on the pit road, and then the car just kind of did a very lazy loop on him. But then there was a whole bunch of cars trying to get to pit road, so he had to sit there and wait, and he did it very nice and just waited his turn.
Well, Saunders is in the lead now, but choo-choo, here comes Ryan Otis. I really should reserve that for Lionel, but Ryan is closing quickly here. Yeah,
and something that we missed, Andrew Kinsella is a lap down. I think he had a speeding penalty.
He did.
On pit road
he did. He picked one up, buddy. Cost him a whole lap.
Yeah, and now he's going to try and fight back. Now, it's not impossible if he can get up there and maybe get around him. I don't expect Saunders or Otis to give him much room because the old adage in racing is you don't let the guy by that can beat you.
Is it unusual?
I mean, it's not unusual to be loved by anyone. You were teeing me up, and you knew I was going to take it.
I was, and you missed the delivery just a little bit on that. I'm a little disappointed, Brian. We're going to have to work on that. Yeah, just a skosh.
Well, I know it wasn't an amazing delivery. Get it, Maze? Corn Maze. The battle for the 7th spot.
Yeah, we haven't talked about these too much, but boy, they've got a good one going here after this pit stop cycle, and Winchell getting
contact! Caution is out, put it out! Down the back stretch, JP Winchell and Mike Rigney coming together off of turn 2.
I honestly think that started with a little bit of the dreaded net code. I don't think there was contact. It ended up in contact, but
yeah, it definitely ended that way.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of space there. I really do. Should we explain netcode for our IASN viewers who maybe have no idea what we're talking about?
I would say it's worth the explanation.
All right, here we go. Netcode is a blanket term for anything that somehow relates to networking in online games. Netcode is a term most commonly used by gamers when discussing synchronization issues. Oh, wow, I screwed that one up. Synchronization issues between clients and servers. There you go. That's the short wiki version.
That works for us. It was, I mean, a fraction of netcode.
It really was. I mean, it doesn't, well, it never takes much, does it? No. But
it's kind of like
a shame that happens coming right out of the pit stop, especially for a guy like Kinsella, who really had no time to make any of that up.
I mean, that happens a couple laps later. Kinsella's going to get caught back around the field and probably get going. Now he's kind of stuck where he's at and is having to work his way around the hard way. I mean, just a night here at the Iowa Speedway. Yeah, let's, you know what? Let's take a break here on the iRacing Esports Network. Be right back here to the Butt Kicker 150 to get you all caught up. We'll be right back.
The Sim Pit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The Sim Pit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for The Sim Pit.
Welcome back to the Butt Kicker 150, nestled here at the Iowa Speedway, Newton, Iowa. As you see from the high overhead chopper there, this track is in the middle of a cornfield, but enough with all of that. We're getting ready to fire this thing away and get the kernels popping here. Pace car is away. Saunders is in control of the field, and he is going to get onto the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air. We're back underway here. Now, Kinsella is going to be kind of the, he's not going to make a whole lot of friends here.
Not looking to make any quick anyways.
Well,
Otis already on the charge. Look at that. Already steps down to the inside. He wants this thing bad.
He wants it back. I mean, when you're out front and you're in control of it, it's such a great feeling, especially at these short ovals. Trying to get what he can, but Kinsella's just got that machine wound up on the outside lane. Saunders is just loving it, looking in his mirror going, okay, bye, guys. Battle for the 7th spot. We're looking back at it. It is Chris Lanini who has the 7th spot. And Adam Young is trying to take it away. Adam Forever Young, getting that run off the top side, getting the spot. Move Adam Young up there to the 7th spot. And the battle just in front of, not a battle, just in front of him. That was Lionel Kalisto with Frank Beeser. The lap traffic in there. Lionel, what's that? P3 up on the screen. The battling there with
Cone and Otis.
Otis getting stuck in the wake of Kinsella has allowed Mark Cone to get caught right up to him. Side by side down the front stretch. Look at this battle here. Cone's going to get him cleared into one. Is he going to swoop? That was, they're going to try and do it back. Slide job. Slide job. Oh, cross it over.
Wow.
Woo, this is some great battling. And this is for the second spot. We're only on lap 92. Cone getting the good run there, getting it back, giving some room back to Otis. But now Cone looking to power away, coming off of turn 4. Here comes Otis, sniffing the draft, coming back and down into turn 1. He's going to stay up to the outside, try and ride that high line. Cone's going to stick to the bottom, coming off of turn 2, give that position to the 39. Still riding around there. It's all happening behind Alex Saunders.
Yep.
As I was going to say, look back there in the 6th spot. That's Lionel Little Train Callisto. Did not take the qualifying time. Started 24th, and he's knocking on the door to a top 5.
Another good effort by another riding shotgun motorsports driver.
Take it down to the inside. There you see that bump that I was kind of talking about. At the very bottom where like I said, where that tunnel is to the infield, that bump will really upset the car. So sometimes the best way you got around it is try to maneuver and hit that bump as lightly as possible while trying to get it as straight as possible. It's kind of a fun balance. Now you see he's going back down to the inside, hits that bump, going to try and clear himself up. Doesn't quite have the momentum. Here comes Clymer back running to the outside to defend the spot back into turn 3. Almost getting the fence off of turn 4. That's going to open up the door again for Callisto getting the run. Battles all over this speedway.
Really, really are. Lanini locked in one back there with Paul Jenkins at the moment.
Lanini just he's the silent assassin of the field because you barely will say his name throughout 3/4 of the race. And when it comes down to pay window time, they need to be hunting around the top 10. Back out front, Callisto has completed the pass around David Clymer. So move Little Train right up there to the top 5 and coming.
You know, Brian, we talked about Dustin Morneau, the Candyman, having trouble. He made a small mistake at Michigan that kept him out of contention for the win last week, and he really needed this one tonight. He really did. He needed to regroup and put that mistake behind him, and then he has something happen like a connection issue. I'm sure that led to, maybe his frustration that he shared with you all. But I'm just gutted for the guy, man. Hope he can somehow get this sorted out and regroup again and recover before this season's over, because we've only got 6 races to go after, or 5 to go after we get out of tonight.
Yeah, and the other thing too, he had just kind of a rough night at Richmond last night in the IndyCar as well. So just trying to, bounce between the series and try and find some luck in it. It's just eluding him kind of everywhere he's going. Now, if we will, let's point the camera, if you will, Director Amjad, back up towards the front. A situation is developing, and it's going to develop here pretty sooner versus later. Mark Cohn is running some really fast lap times. I mean, you're talking about a tenth faster than Alex Saunders. You see the guy right there in ahead of him in that green car? That's the lap down car of Andrew Kinsella. Andrew Kinsella is also running very fast lap times, about on par with the leader. So Saunders is all of a sudden going to have 2 cars that he's going to have to deal with here very fast. One of the decision he's going to have to make is, who do you fight and who do you try to let go? I think the obvious answer is you fight Cohn and let Andrew go. But now if Andrew gets a caution, I think it's late enough in the race now that I don't think he can make up, 18 spots. I don't think he's going to make up 17 spots to hurt you.
Yeah, that is a tall order to fill indeed.
And you see looking over the shoulder of Mark Cohn, watching up ahead. Yeah, I mean, I think if you're Saunders and, you know, if Kinsella gets a run on you, I think you got to let it go, because that's not your battle. He's not going to beat you, I think, by the end of this. If it was 100 laps to go, you know, yeah, maybe fight it a little bit. But we're getting to 65 to go this time by.
And let's face it, he's not your battle in points either, right? I mean, why spend time racing a guy that you just don't need to race?
Yeah, I think it's maybe his second start of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So he's not here for points. He's here for trophies.
Well, I think he's here so he won't get fined, Brian.
Working on a Skittles sponsorship, I heard, too. We'll keep an eye on that as that battle starts to probably heat up here in just a little bit, but kind of surfing back through the field. I'm not seeing too many other battles. There's a lot of single file. I mean, finding something back at about the 12th spot. That's Tyson Landis and James Paulson. I was looking at it the wrong way. I was looking 12th to 11th.
Yeah, that's a tightly knit group there. You throw Blanken over him, Brian. When you look at Combs, Landis, Paulson, David Altman, Chad Dalton, they're all just spread, really, honestly, about 7/10 of a second.
It is spread really thin out there, just kind of like butter on a nice piece of sweet corn. And you see that last time by, though, Landis ran up near the wall, and Paulson ran dang near down the bottom of the track, and they came down the middle of the backstretch, basically right where they were at each other. And here they go again. Landis running high, Paulson kind of running the middle. Kind of paying attention, looking around. The battle for the lead isn't heating up just yet, but it's gonna get interesting in a little bit, because now, just like before, yeah, Saunders has caught some other traffic.
And that's going to be, I think it's absolutely going to be a factor. It's going to bring these two together. And Otis is going to get another shot at you know, getting back up to that pack where he probably feels like he belongs, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. See, now, I mean, Saunders is making some moves, trying to put some cars in between. Now Mark Cohn having to do with Andrew Kinsella pretty much head on. They've worked their way around the other machine of Travis Jagerleiter. Here comes Cohn down to the inside, and he's going to try to use Bluin as a pick, maybe. That's a bold strategy. 3 wide into turn 3. Cohn clearing himself up, then coming back down to defend. That was a veteran move right there. That was very, very smart driving out of that 39 machine.
And that was a veteran move by Robert Bluin, if you ask me. I mean, he did a good job of managing that traffic as they sped on past him.
Robert's been around the series, I feel like, forever. And I think he knows, woohoo, here comes Kinsella. Yeah. I think he wisely backed out of that one because he saw what was coming. There's Gaiman trying to kind of stay out of the way, but that kind of messed up Mark, because now here comes Andrew running at it again, making that run from the top side, going to get a big draft down the front stretch. Pit window is open. Whenever it comes, you know, if you're trying to hit that window, we're probably 20 laps away from pit stops. But if we get a caution anywhere inside of this window, the pit roads are open. We're going to get to the end of it, you know, top it off of Imperial gallons of fuel.
Imperial gallons, yes.
Yes.
Do any of us know what that means?
Well, why don't you tell us, Sean?
Well, the U.S. liquid gallon is defined as 321 cubic inches and equates to approximately 3.75 liters. 1 imperial gallon is equivalent to approximately 1.2 U.S. liquid gallons. The U.S. dry gallon is a measurement historically applied to a volume of grain or other dry commodities, such as maybe even corn. There we go.
Battle for the 7th spot on track. Adam Young, Chris Lanini. Chris Lanini recently setting the fastest lap of the race at 19:25. So remember we said at the onset of the race, the track temp was around 84. It's about 81 right now. Track's cooling off. Race is heating up. It's going to get real exciting here over the final 50 laps.
50?
Yeah.
That's
We're trucking through this thing, man.
50?
We are chucking through this race. It is amazing, again, amazing the pace that we have here on the track.
I was a little slow on the uptick on that one. I got it.
It's all right. I mean, not everybody can be a corner absorbing all of these puns. There you go. Lanini's getting it 3 wide.
Yeah.
Lewin just has to look out to his left side and go, I'm 3 wide again. Come on, guys. Nini just fighting back on the outside or inside. Sorry, there's Adam Young and Forever. I don't think he likes the nickname Forever Young, but I'm going to keep sticking with it.
Hey, listen, I know Adam likes the High Line. Loved it at Michigan. Absolutely loved it up there. And honestly, he's been up there most of the night here at Iowa. So I'm wondering if there was much change to the. Well, there wasn't because it's a fixed setup series. I'm sorry. I'll shut up now.
It's all right. It was music. Your voice is still music to my ears.
Oh, thank you.
Get it? Ears of corn.
Yeah. Just keep going, man. Keep going.
I just keep shucking. Just keep shucking. So looking over the left shoulder there, clipping that apex camera. George Anzaldo, a very quiet, stealthy 4th spot, pretty much right where he started. The spotlight driver of the race tonight. And I know usually sometimes that is a commentator's curse times 2 to be the spotlight driver, but it's working out so far so good for series founder George Anzaldo.
We're in trouble if it doesn't. I will just leave it at that. So
yeah, we might that might just stop doing that. That whole program
George
might go away.
Yeah, George may decide, you know what, we just don't need that element anymore.
Adam Young, power move right in front of him around David Clymer. Getting the 6th spot away. Move Adam Young up there. Pretty good move. Got a good run, sent it down to the bottom, and just drove the car pretty much from the bottom up to the top. Back out. Where are we looking at here? Oh, we're looking at this battle. That's a real. Lionel Little Train Callisto. He's going to be making a run here at George Anzaldo, winding up that number 6 machine. Sean, Dandy Dan Guerin there in chat's telling you up the irons.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan. They were upped very, very high. Otis getting there to traffic, and boy, he made a really, really evasive move late to get around. He used every bit of that slipstream he could to his advantage to get himself around Cody Eldred.
And Eldred being, kind of in a lap down machine, there's so many spots to run, and you kind of be right in the way too. So you kind of be the worst of both markets as you're trying to get through there. It's just so many spots you could be on the track and still be somewhat competitive because they're not expecting you to just roll out of the way.
So I've been accused of swallowing a frog. Is it really that bad? Is the voice really that off, Brian?
No. I would say, you've cornered the market really on that distinguished voice. Still amazing to me.
I keep setting him up. I keep setting him up, and he just keeps knocking him down.
Yeah. Guess you could say
sixth place heating up.
I guess you could say I'm a unicorn.
On. Yeah.
Which I found out has a very drastic different meaning than what I thought it meant a while ago.
Man, Callisto, Young, Clymer. Don't forget about Lanini just kind of lurking in the background there.
Yeah. I told you, he's just silently working his way through there. And every time I hear Little Train, I always think of Long Train Running, the Doobie Brothers.
It was indeed, yes.
I don't. Every single time I was thinking that just a bass line from that song.
Adam Young getting passed here by David Clymer. I think Adam's going to let him have it that time.
Yeah, he's getting it back to Clymer, trying to climb back up through the ranks there and get the spot back that Adam Young, pretty much the same method, got from him a couple laps before. Now Adam getting a big push off of the corner, which is setting him up to be, which is basically letting Chris Lanini just stalk him down the front stretch. And then here we come off a turn 2. Lanini to the inside, try and go to the very bottom. He going to clear himself up? Clear-ish? No, not quite enough.
You know, pit stops are looming. We're getting in the window with only 32 laps to go, too.
Who's the first one to blink? I think that's going to be the big question. Who's the first one that's going to cast their dice and say, "Okay, this is the move I'm making. This is it." Lap traffic is all over the place here. You know what they say out here in the Iowa Speedway? You got to listen because you got to be careful. The walls have ears. Here comes Saunders making his move to pit road. He's got Ryan Cohrens in front of him. Cohn's going to get it slowed down. Here's Saunders at the line where he needs to be. Now, is Mark going to try and go out there and run a couple speed laps? All clear. Is he clear of traffic? Is he coming with? He's coming with it. I think if Mark Cohn had clean air, I think you would have seen him go for it there. But now you really only need a splash of Imperial fuel to get to the end of this race. There's that Kalisto just behind him entering pit road as well.
Yeah, a bunch of cars now in there. Of course, Altman, Joshua Gaiman. Adam Young is rolling off.
5.5 second pit stop for Alex Saunders. Let's keep that in mind as we pay attention to some of the other leaders in their pit stop.
Otis is in. Leads all those cars coming down.
Mark Cohn is rolling. We're going to have a good battle coming here off of turn 2. Oh, not quite. Saunders get the big advantage coming off of the corner there. What was the gap? Saunders 5.5. So it was about half a second on pit road in the pit box. Oh, caution is out. Put it out. It's a 58 in turns 3 and 4, I think.
I think you're right. Tyson Landis finds trouble, Brian.
Oh, trying to get on pit road, get it woed down, and the car just, it overcorrects. This changes everything. Right now, I have Chris Lanini as the leader, probably rolling around on fumes.
That's pretty much the same spin we saw earlier, is it not, that brought out the first caution?
You're absolutely right.
Different part of pit road. Well, I'm sorry. Actually, no, that was the Combs spin. It did not bring out a caution, actually. All those cars had avoided him going in.
Yep. It's just it was the quick overreact that went back out there. That's what shot that in there. I see 4 cars on the lead lap because of that caution.
Yeah, we've only had 2, but boy, they have been inopportune for guys trying to make up ground on this track, Brian.
I mean, yeah, you're gutted for Mark Cohn. I mean, these guys have not put a wheel wrong all night. Make their pit stop, and just an untimely caution bites them.
Well, untimely as it may be, it levels the playing field up front for a lot of guys.
It does. I mean, there's going to be a ton of wave rounds here, so that's going to be interesting to pay attention to. But like I said, your battle for the win here is going to be Chris Lanini, Finian Ducata, James Paulson, and Chad Dalton. Luck be a lady tonight. That's a saying, a song, something like that?
That's a song, sir. That's a song.
Yeah, I got my puns tied in the right way.
You know, speaking of songs and famous quotes, I got to utter the line last night. It was really weird, but of all the gin joints in the world, she walked into mine. So, and it fit. It actually, for once in my life, it fit. So that's all a story I'm really going to tell. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know why I brought that up.
Hey, it's a great filler there. That was good stuff. Any truth to the rumor that your astrological sign is a Capricorn?
No, there's no truth to that at all. I'm a Virgo, so.
Oh, all right.
Not sure what all that means, but by nature of my birthday being in September, I am a Virgo.
I think it was a Chris Rock song way back in like the late 90s or something like that, where he goes through all the signs. He says, Aquarius, you're gonna die. Capricorn, you're gonna die twice. Like it just goes through all of those. I don't think I could say the name of the song, but if you type in Chris Rock Champagne Room, I think you'll find what I'm looking for.
Hey, you know what? While we're vamping, I'm going to take this opportunity to remind everybody that this is the Butt Kicker 150. And that Butt Kicker products add an instant immersion to any game.
Absolutely right.
Unlike a subwoofer that moves air and loses accuracy in fours, Butt Kicker products move actual mass, producing a haptic immersion that's powerful and accurate, Brian. Butt Kicker produces... I did it again. Butt Kicker products add that missing driver-to-car connection, bringing more realism and immersion to your sessions. See all the family of products at thebuttkicker.com. You can find them on social media too, Brian. They're on Twitter. They're on Facebook. They're even on Instagram. They're on the IG. Get on the IG, folks. If you're not on the IG, you're missing out.
There's a lot going on in that IG.
Use the promo code LION25, and that will get you 25% off. I talked about this earlier in the race, folks. That's a significant amount of money. I wish I had gotten 25% off on my recent little getaway. Yeah. I'd be a happier man today. But no, you need to check out the Butt Kicker, because really, everyone should have one of these strapped to their chair, to their sim rig. However you're racing, if you don't have one attached, you're really, if you don't have one or two, maybe 3 or 4 attached, you're selling yourself short, and you're losing out on the immersion factor of this platform, iRacing.
Been a great partner to have in the broadcast and in the league. Guys do really great work. It's fun to see and fun to see guys that they win the products and they get all excited and they get them strapped in. They really feel that extra sense of immersion. It really is awesome. Getting the extended caution because we had, by my count, about 15 or so wave around cars. So race control extending the caution for 1 lap to get everybody kind of caught back up and happy. I'm seeing, so we talked about the top 4, Chris Lanini, Fanine Ducana, Chad Dalton, James Paulson. Sleeper to that, if he can kind of get clear of the 2 lap cars, George Anzaldo is in 5th. Now he's waved back around. David Clymer in 6th. Alex Saunders 7th. A couple other lap cars. Mark Cohn there in 8th. There's a lot going on here. So a couple different things that we could see. Chris, if he's out front, he's going to want to find the fast lane, the top gear, and get the hell away from the front of this field, because the more gap he can build in, the harder it's going to be for some of those guys to run him down. So it's going to be a very, very interesting 20-lap run here to the conclusion, and we're going to bring it all to you here on the iRacing Esports Network. Chris Lanini onto the loud pedal, green flag, back into the air, down the front stretch, 20 laps to go at Iowa. Don't blink, kids, you'll miss it. Chris getting a big jump down into turn 1. Here comes Finian getting a run back, sniffing that draft off of the backstretch, getting right down low. Now these cars have really low fuel, just enough to get through the end of it. But they've also got hot tires that haven't been changed. Who can manage this over the next set of laps? Right now, Lanini is showing his cards to the bottom. Here comes Finian down to the inside into turn 3.
I was worried about Anzalo back there in 5th. He'd kind of gotten a bit of a slow start. He's finally able to break away from Clymer and Saunders, who are in a really big battle back there. Mark Cohn in the thick of that. Oh, and he makes contact. Cohn with contact with Clymer's in the wall.
Turn 2, big shunt into turn 2.
And Otis is in that, and Otis's car is wedged up into the wall, up into that safer barrier. A toe is the only thing that's going to get him off the track.
There was a lot going on there.
Wow.
There was an accident ahead of the scene.
Yeah, I called Clymer. It wasn't Clymer. It was one of the lap cars. It was a purple and yellow.
There was, yeah, so Holmes on my screen, I think he reacts and he goes to spin. The purple car is Joshua Gaiman. Was he the start? Yeah, they were 3 wide and Clymer just kind of bumps into him. And that's what sends that all around. And it's just
Otis had nowhere to go there. Otis just got pinched all the way. I'm just funneled right into that mess. Here's Little Train.
All right, hang on.
Wow.
I want an onboard of Andrew Kinsella, and I want somebody to clip this and send it to the iRacing Top 10. Watch this. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Just watch.
Could be eligible for not the top 10.
Hits nothing.
It's nothing. Amazing. All that carnage and somehow. Well, that's how you win championships. Honestly, I'm not. There's no shtick or fibbing in that. I mean, it takes a little bit of luck, maybe sometimes a lot of luck, depending on how you win the championship. But you know, again, he's out fighting for it here. But geez, what a break!
That was. I went back and watched that. How the hell did he slide through that and not hit anybody? That's. Someone's got to clip that and send that to iRacing Top 10. That's one of the best saves I think I've ever seen on the service. We should have 2 entries for September. We had the finish at Michigan, and then we should have this one.
Well, you know, we're going to find out soon, Brian, because,
soon.
well, hashtag soon, as we all know, the month of September is only 4 days away from being over, and then we are in October. Halloween is right around the corner.
Pumpkin spice everything.
Man, it's been pumpkin spice everything for 60 days now. Are you kidding me?
I think I saw Santa somewhere, and like in the back corner of a store, like they're getting ready, and I'm like, no.
So, I got a few weird looks from some kids in the airport this morning, actually.
Oh,
so. Yeah, it happens, man. I don't know what to tell you. They look at me, they see the beard. You get that confused look like, Mom, Dad, what am I looking at here?
Santa's an Iron Maiden fan, kids.
Yeah, exactly. I had those shirts on this morning. Yeah, and you know, I'm not exactly, I don't exactly have the Santa bod going these days, so they think I'm like in training or something, right? They see me.
It's the off season for Santa. That's
well, you know, they're offering me bagels and stuff. Here, Santa, here, you need to eat up. You know, they feel sorry for me. Of course I said no. What? No, I'm kidding.
I was going to say, you offer me free food. That's a good way to kidnap me.
I did. True story. I did meet a kid this morning who was going. His grandmother was taking him to Knoxbury Farm out here in California. Awesome. They were flying from Phoenix. It was his 6th birthday.
Oh, and, Knoxbury Farm.
Yeah. Adorable kid, and was getting to go on a plane ride to go to Knoxbury Farm for the day. So, yeah.
Legendary Knoxbury fried chicken.
I gave him a GSRC sticker.
Nice. I don't even have a GSRC sticker.
Well, we got to fix that.
Yeah.
I heard there's actually a GSRC store somewhere that has stickers at the store. But that's what I heard. It's out there. Probably Google it. GSRC store, Global SimRacing Channel store.
We need to find some of that. I got some swag I need to.
There is some
Pick up.
swag. I've been told that there is swag out there
I
floating
mean, I
around
feel like
the
I should get
interwebs.
a commentator's discount on that.
We might be able to work that out for you.
Can I get my own promo code? Put it out for
Oof.
10%.
We may have to make that just a promo code, period. We'll have like a half a dozen of them, and that's one of them.
Works for me. Let's get to it. Coming to 12 laps to go. Chris Ladini still in charge. Finian making a good charge behind him. That's also going to bunch up the rest of the pack, though. So these folks, stay tuned. Stay in your seats. Don't go anywhere. This is going to be interesting. Chris Ladini on the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air. We are away once again at Iowa. Chris bringing it all the way down, trying to break the draft and escape into turn one. Still getting that run through the bottom of 3 and 4. Chris Ladini trying to maintain. I think now he's going to go into the defense. Oh, big wreck in the back on the front stretch. Saunders put it out.
Oh, man. And that wasn't. Oh, and George Gonzalo gets in that, flip it to the infield. That was not all Saunders, unfortunately. I think he got a little help, Brian.
Yeah. Got a lot of help.
Yeah.
And it was just tight off of the corner, some tight racing. And it just, unfortunately, there's a yellow car that got tagged and all that, and they went straight to the infield. David Altman, unfortunately.
We got to be careful here because we don't use the green-white checker here in the Lionheart Retro Series. So,
well, we're gonna get
we're gonna get restarted.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get restarted.
We're gonna get restarted.
In the Lionheart series, under 10 laps to go, any lap down cars in the top 10 are gonna get waved to the back.
Right, that's going to happen.
That is. So that's going to move our top 10. All right, this one's going to be the top 10 after this. And why I'm chuckling to myself is the name that's going to be in 8th spot. So we're going to have Chris Ladini in the lead, Finian in 2nd, Chad Dalton 3rd, James Paulson 4th, David Clymer 5th, Mark Cohn 6th, Paul Jenkins 7th, Andrew Havakech Kinsella P8. A lap down to drifting turn 1 to the 8th spot, all in 66 laps.
And you know, one of the biggest disappointments of that caution right there, poor George Gonzalo gets caught up in that and just destroyed what had been a great race he was having, holding on to the top basically 6 all night.
Yeah. He was just kind of trucking it through and doing what he needed to do.
If I remember correctly, traditionally he's been really good here too, so this is going to be huge disappointment for him.
George loves the Iowa Speedway. I think it's the site of his IndyCar win, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
It is. It is. Yes, it is.
Special fondness to the Iowa Speedway on top of the members meetup.
Yes, I was calling that race with Soup. It was back when I was still, in fact, on the call for the Lionheart IndyCar Series. It was me and a guy named Evan Pasoko who started that all off many years ago.
Heard of him.
Yeah. We actually, I called bootleg races with Evan at one time.
I remember because I think
that was fun.
That was the tail end, air quotes, of his tenure at GSRC. Not like we didn't chase him out. He just paths went different ways.
Busy. Yeah, he was busy.
Because I remember some of that, and because I believe my very first.
Well, you're an OG. You're an OG.
I am an OG. My very first deal that I ever did for GSRC, I was the spotter for a bootleg race at Martinsville.
With being Evan, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the next day, my first time that they put a microphone in my face,
and that
was the Lionheart IndyCar 500. Or Lionheart IndyCar Series, Indy 500 with, I think, Michelle DeJong or Mitchell DeJong. There's Michelle.
Yes.
Won that race. And so it's so funny that I'm so that now I'm so integrated into the Lionheart culture because that was my first ever time that they're like, okay, talk, Brian. And I said, well, on pit road, and now here we are. Still kind of don't know much more than that first time, but we're getting there.
Oh, no, you're one of the salty old vets here on the. You're definitely old, but you're one of the salty old vets here on the.
And the gray in my beard would definitely give the salt look.
We're going to talk about gray in the beard, man.
I have to keep mine honed down a little bit for work. I did have I called my midlife crisis beard before I changed jobs.
I remember that beard.
Yeah, that was impressive there, but not as impressive as yours.
Bearding is fun. Okay, remember that. Bearding is fun.
Everybody's got to do it once, I feel.
Yes, or more than once.
All right, Sean.
Oh, this is all yours. I don't even want any of this.
Pay window is open. We're going to be taking the restart with 5 laps to go. That number is important for several reasons. Obviously, 5 laps to go. We know we're getting down to the end of it. But when it comes down, once we take this green flag, the next flag is going to end it. Caution laps at Iowa are usually at least 4 laps. So if we come around, we get the green with 5, and the caution immediately comes out, that's going to be 4 laps to the end of it, and that's going to end it. 5 laps to go, though, and these cars at Iowa still got a long way here, so just long enough. Think of it like in the NFL when there's a minute on the clock, but both teams have 2 timeouts. Pace car is away. Field is under the control of Chris Lanini. Onto the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air. Lanini moving, weaving up and down, trying to break the draft and get himself some clearance into turn 1. That time by going to get a little bit away. Finian getting a good run off of turn 2, trying to sniff the draft. He's only going to be able to go a couple different spots here with the field. I mean, he could try to get that run. He passed Chris right before the other caution. Now Chris taking the very defensive line into turn 1. That's going to let him push up into turn 2. Finian has a bit of a wash in turn 2 as well. Down into turn 3 this time. Coming to the 3 to go.
I'm nervous.
I'd be nervous too. Out front, it is Finian, Ducana, and Chris Lanini. These 2 are going to be the ones that decide the battle. Oh, and Finian getting a big push up. Chris defending the bottom. I think Chris has played his dice. He knows where his car is strong. He knows where that 94 car pushes up. 2 laps around Iowa left to go. Here's Chris Lanini trying to maintain that lead, building that gap. Finian doing what he can, weaving back and forth. Down into turn 3, taking a high arc, trying to sniff the draft. Is it going to work? White flag. One more time around Iowa. Chris Lanini sticking to the bottom, sticking to his defensive line. Here comes Finian trying to make a run. He's going to wash out just a little bit, tucking back in, trying to get the draft. Back up to the top side. Lanini on the bottom. Finian up top. Finian's going to wash out. Chris Lanini off of turn 4 is going to win the butt kicker 150 at Iowa Speedway.
What a win. And the boys over at SimTV are going to be happy with that run by Finian. That's a great night for him, man. Brian, 26th. You started 26th.
26th.
Yeah, I don't care if he qualified. I don't care if he qualified or not. I'm not as hardcore about that as some others are. Yeah, that's a great drive, man. Great drive for Finian. Also a New Yorker. I can't fault him for that.
No, that's a good thing to be. Chris Lanini, he's got the victory. He's got the checkered flag. He's going to do some burnouts here on the front stretch. We're going to get ourselves caught up, get the post-race show started. Chris Lanini, once again, your winner here at Iowa. We'll be right back.
The Sim Pit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The Sim Pit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for The Sim Pit.
Well, we've seen a fantastic race at the Iowa Speedway. The butt kicker 150 conclusion. Chris Lanini getting the victory for the Lionheart faithful. That's a good victory. That's one of the good guys you like seeing winning. We got the post-race show going on now, presented by Plasma Tracks. And let me tell you, Sean, Plasma Tracks are, if you're looking for something in the motorsports fan life, it's more for something to fill out that life.
Well, struggling to find something for the person who has everything, really.
Yeah, really, if you're struggling to find something for everybody. Yeah. Plasma-tracks.com not only produces original racetrack wall art, motorsports trophies, home decor, and motorsports fabrication, also available as well. Words just do not do justice to the uniqueness in their work. I got to see the Cornhole Trophy that they put together last year for the Cornhole Championship. Phenomenal work. I absolutely would recommend it to anybody looking out there. But I tell you what, you go poking around there, and you're gonna need some help trying to convince your spouse why you need some plasma track wall art hanging in your house. See it all at plasma-tracks.com. Use the promo code LRS2019 to get 25% off of your order, which is going to bring us to the rundown presented by SimPit. SimPit, an entertainment channel dedicated to sim racing, focused to bring you the news and the reviews and the information from all around the world about sim racing hardware and software. Also talks about what it's like to be a better sim racer with instructional videos and how-tos that will help your performance on the virtual track. Check it all out at thesimpit.com. Chris Lanini bringing home the victory with Finian Ducana. There we go. I got it right that time. In second, Chad Dalton in third. Fourth, David Clymer. Mark Cohn rebounding after getting caught out on that caution to finish fifth. Andrew Kinsella sixth. Paul Jenkins seventh. Eighth to James Paulson. Ryan Corns in ninth, the first car one lap down. And 10th to Tyson Landis.
You know, it is Ryan Corns. Why did I think that was Combs all night? I can't see. I need better glasses. Okay, 11th is gonna be Frank Beezer. 12th, gonna go to Travis Jagerliner. 13th, Robert Bluen. Cody Eldred's gonna come home in 14th tonight, Brian. D Mole, home Mardi Gras, finishes 15th. George Anzato's got to settle for a 16th place finish tonight. Bad luck for him there late. Alex Saunders, 17th for him. David Altman, 18th. Adam Young had a great race early. unfortunately, that was early. So he'll finish 19th. 20th, going to go to the little train tonight. Lionel Calisto. I can't even talk anymore. Lionel Calisto.
Ryan Otis, unfortunately, finishing in the blackjack position, 21st, getting caught up in that late race accident. 22nd to Scott Holmes. Joshua Gaiman, 23rd. 24th, JP Winchittle. Mike Eleanor Rigney in the 25th spot with Tapp Baldwin, 26th. 27th to Eric Block. And unfortunately, not getting a chance to see the green flag was the Candyman Dustin Wardlow there in the 9th spot. Just a rough night for him. But not a rough night for this guy, Chris Lanini, getting the victory here at Iowa. Chris, it all comes down to that final pit stop. What was the thought process in staying out?
Well, I had a couple laps left on my fuel, but it was getting twitchy, really twitchy. So decided after the guy in front of me pit, I think it was Adam Young, that I would duck down into pit lane. But as I did, as I was on the flat part, the caution came out. So I just pulled back up and clutched it until I could get back around to pit under yellow. And I didn't even realize I was in the lead until a couple laps later.
Hey, that kind of works out the best way that way. So how tight was it? I mean, were you clutching, rolling, like trying to get every ounce of it, or did you have a little bit to get back?
I wasn't running out. I probably could have made it another lap under caution, but that would have been pushed.
Well, I mean, that's that brings home a victory here at Iowa. I mean, that's big for for all of us guys in the Lionheart series. We know how special Iowa is to everybody in the league. So how does it feel to kind of plant your flag here at Iowa, saying that you're one of the winners?
It's really cool. I wasn't expecting to even be interviewed tonight, and I won, so that's incredible. It's kind of funny because my best finish in IndyCar was here at Iowa when I finished second. But man, this is my first retro win. It's amazing.
Chris, was I commentating when you got that?
I don't know. It was the one George won with all the cautions. I'm not sure if that was.
Yeah, I was in fact commentating.
Okay, you need to commentate more on my race.
Should. Oh yeah, you probably I was making a connection there, Brian.
Right? Yeah, I saw where we were going.
That works.
Yeah, that works. I mean that it's just the strategy worked out. I mean, it's not like you come out of nowhere and stole it. I mentioned earlier in the race that you were kind of like a stealthy assassin, just kind of working your way up through the field. I mean, that's just your style. I mean, how does that develop over the course of time for you?
I just try and stay smooth and consistent. I don't push my luck too much, but it just seems like I sort of either start in the back or something happens and I end up in the back, and I just work my way up methodically. It's just sort of been the way I've always raced.
Well, that's how that's sort of mentality. We got you over on the loud pedal side there on the IndyCar. So, Chris, we'll see you on down the road here at Road America. How are you looking forward to that coming off of the win here?
It is one of my favorite road courses. I'm not great in this car on the road, but I'm really looking forward to it because it's just a good track.
Well, don't do what I did last year and blow it up into turn one trying to downshift.
Yeah, I'll do my best. Really quickly, I'd like to say hi to my dad. I know he's watching this broadcast, and thank my two sponsors, Camart and Tardigrade Inferno.
That's awesome, Chris. We'll see you on down the road. Congratulations once again.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
That was the voice of Chris Lanini. What's that, Sean?
Tardigrade Inferno.
I'm going to do some Googling here in a minute.
Well, tardigrade reads like that's a Star Trek Discovery reference, the tardigrade. So for all you Trekkies out there, my mind is swimming. Hey, we've got Finian, and Finian, listen, first question out of the box. I want you to say your last name for us, please.
It is pronounced Dakuna.
Dakuna. All right.
I say it right maybe 60% of the time.
It's better than most people, so I'll take it.
All right.
All right.
With that.
Finian, tell you what, man, I'm going to be honest. I haven't watched you run much this season, but when I've seen you run, you've been up there with the boys slinging it around, and tonight it paid off for you. What was the key to your strategy?
Yeah, the key really was just staying out on fuel before that caution came out that threw everyone off guard. I was actually just about to pull into the pits, and I saw the caution lights come on, and I immediately pulled back out, threw the car into fifth gear, and just coasted back around. Because I thought, I wanted to try to make sure in case a caution came out, I was on the better end of it. and I stretched it as much as I could, and that pretty much gave me this top 5 finish and almost for the win too, but I didn't have enough for Lanini.
Can I ask you a question about the track conditions / weather? All right, now it was pretty neutral, but as the race went on, we know this tire doesn't fall off a lot at many tracks. What were you feeling from these tires tonight?
Yeah, actually, right before that caution, after the pretty decent green flag run, the second caution, the tires were amazing. They were really had a lot of heat in them, a lot of grip in them, and it was just glued to the track. And I was really enjoying the conditions, and it was fine like that. And then those last cautions at the end, it really made me lose a lot of heat in the tires, so I really couldn't do much for Chris at the end. So I think maybe if we didn't have those cautions at the end, I probably could have had a chance at him, but he gave me a run for the money at the end.
Well, Finian, we know you're sponsored by SimTV. It's plastered all over the car, but who else is part of this effort for the team?
First, I want to thank Tyler Graft for bringing me on board. I was looking for a team when I signed up for this series, and they had an open spot, and they welcomed me with open arms. Same thing with the Marcone and Cody Eldred. They all just welcomed me, and I pretty much became a part of the team immediately. And they're really fun to race with and give me a lot of pointers, and I give them a lot of pointers, and it's a really good relationship. So I got to thank them for giving me this really good finish, and hopefully more to come later on.
Has the Watchman dropped one of those timepieces on you yet? Do you get one of those for being on the team?
I hope so. I haven't gotten it yet.
Christmas is around the corner, so you never know. Hang around, maybe win a race, maybe he'll drop a watch on you, man. Finney, congratulations. Really great race this evening. Enjoyed calling it and enjoyed seeing you up there, buddy. Good luck when we see you again.
Thank you.
That's Finian, and now we're going to catch up with Chad Dalton rounding out the podium. Chad, I mean, that caution couldn't have worked out better for you to gain all that track position back.
Yes, that was perfect. I don't know what happened, but I was so happy. Well, I mean, happy in a way. I didn't realize that I was going to end up sitting in third, though. I was quite surprised. Actually, it was funny. Dean and I were having a conversation, and Dean was like, "You've got to be in the top 5, right?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then I looked, and I was like, "Oh, I'm third."
I mean, hey, surprising result. That works out. Works out nicely. Tell us kind of overall about the night there. I mean, I know Iowa in this car, you really got to try to keep the momentum up, and you have to try to keep the nose clean, which two things that don't often, coincide with each other. So, I mean, how is that challenge as the driver?
Yeah, it was really challenging. In practice before the race, I actually felt okay with everything and thought I was going to be fine. Then I qualified 13th, which is honestly one of my better performances in qualifying for the year, and at least on the ovals. And so I was like, all right, maybe this will go well. And then just immediately dropped like a rock. It's like I had a parachute out of my car the whole first 50 laps or whatever, and went straight back to 22nd or somewhere in there. And it was hard to try and figure it out. And Dean, my teammate, was having a good run. He was up in the top 10 there for a while. And he actually randomly mentioned that he switched to 5th gear instead of using 4th gear. So I tried it. And from there on, I started doing a lot better. I don't know if that really made a difference or not, but at least in my mind it did. So I was way more smooth, way faster, a lot more consistent, and was able to start gaining some spots. And then with the cautions and everything, obviously that helped me gain a lot of spots. So it was actually fun to drive there at the end. I was actually enjoying it, unlike the beginning.
No, hey, it's at the end of the race is where it pays out for you. And rounding out the podium is never a bad way to be, especially here. So any final shout outs you want to give to people before we send you on your way?
Yeah, just to our team, iRacing Today Motorsports, all the guys back at the shop, having fun, enjoying the Lionheart Series the last couple of weeks here for me. And then, of course, Dean with all the help that he and we bounce ideas off each other every week in this series. So it's been helpful to have him, and hopefully I've been helpful for him. So, then thanks to all the guys at Lionheart for putting on the series and you guys for broadcast.
Sounds good. We will catch you on down the road, Chad.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Sean, time to go to the house, bud, but Boy, that was a heck of a show we got here tonight in the cornfields in Iowa.
Really was, man. I'm so glad I got to fill in on this one. It was a great race. First of all, I love short track racing. We all know at this point I grew up at the short track. So, that was a good night at the short track. Great to see Lanini win. He came with the brick and mortar at this place. So, always cool to see one of the old vets get a win here, and kind of a convenient coincidence that, I was on the call last time he did real good here. So, anyway, I'm not taking any credit. I'm just saying.
No, you're just saying.
And of course, any chance to work with you? Are you kidding me? That's it's like Burns and Allen, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not that good, but yeah, no, it's pretty good. So
I appreciate the kind words. I'll stop trying to use my big boy words, and I'll use my 35-cent words.
Yeah. No, but seriously, man, just a blast tonight getting to call Lionheart and do it here at a place that is so near and dear to the series. The pleasure was all mine.
All right, well, let's shut it down and head on down the road. Big sponsor shout out to Butt Kicker once again for sponsoring the series, the race. Go out there and really look at their products. We got promo codes for everything. And really check them out. I mean, Butt Kicker, really good products. I mean, you talk about that instant immersion. We've talked about it several times. Even if you're sitting, you don't have to be in a fancy sim rig. You could be on a desk chair, that's got a wheel that's attached to a desk, and you can still feel that immersion. So that's Lion 25 at the Butt Kickers website, thebuttkicker.com. Big shout out to the series organizer, George Anzaldo, for dealing with that, and all the other sponsors that you see on the series, or that helps us kind of go around the bend each and every single lap of the season. There's everybody on there, and I'm pretty sure we got a promo code for each and every single one of those websites. Also, thanks to the software and the hardware that we use for our broadcast that you're seeing on your screen right now. Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of her, to get in touch with her, to get more of that work. And here's some of those other tracks that she's got laying down. Thanks to the team today, my old buddy Sean, Amjad, Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at facebook.com/Global Sim Racing Channel. Next race for the Retro Series, the Sam Maxwell Customs Grand Prix of Road America, October 3rd. Mark that down in the calendar. We got other races on the calendar as well that you see on screen. So until next time, kids, may your right foot stay planted and your connection stay stable. Thank you very much for watching. Good night, everyone.